Hi there, it's Cynthia Morris here with one of the tools that I've been using for a long time in both my business and my personal creativity. It's such a tool that I almost didn't even realize how vital it has been to me until I looked around and saw how much it's been part of my life. If you're like me, you may have to generate content. The more content you generate, the more ideas you have. The more ideas you have, the more chaotic it might seem. And how do you organize your ideas? This tool is a way to organize your ideas. It's an analog tool, and I generally use two tools for organizing my business and my life. One is a notebook, and I've got a million notebooks that I've used. The other are index cards. Now, these may seem old-fashioned and maybe archaic, but I'll explain why, for me, they've helped me to organize my thoughts. So if you're generating content, it's really perhaps complex material. And the challenge with content is the more complex it is, the more difficult it is to organize. So when I say complex content, I'm talking about book material, course curriculum, blog or article series, podcast episodes, talks, presentations, speeches, or your offers. You may have a lot of different offers. How do you organize them? Anything that you have a series of pieces that you need to be able to move around, assess, and most importantly, see. Seems like when we're sorting through our ideas, we wonder what to include, what to leave out, what belongs, where does it go, how does it work together as a whole? We always have this desperate need to have some kind of structure or order. We're grasping for these kind of guardrails to put our ideas into a form that's going to be coherent, into a we need guardrails to help us put our ideas into a form that's going to be coherent and useful for people. So here's what's worked for me. It is the Simple Dimple index card. I know it seems old school and maybe old fashioned, but it really works for me. And here's why. Larger bodies of work, like a book, can just seem impossible to hold in our head. And in my experience with the books that I've written and helped other people write, it is impossible to hold it all in your head. It's just so many moving pieces. So even an outline can be unwieldy to scroll through and edit. We need to be able to see the material and to be able to move it around. And one of the reasons I find myself using index cards instead of any kind of uh, digital tool is that it helps me to step away from the computer when I am in a higher level thinking and planning mode. Being on the computer it's a slippery slope to going and looking here and looking there and seeing what's there and then bopping around and doing this, and it really fragments my attention and my energy. And when I'm planning and organizing, I need a bigger space, more space away from what the world is doing in order to generate my ideas. So I've used index cards for generating talks, and these are for talks, and these are for my podcast episodes, and just notes and my different offers, the different things that I've made. I put them all into index cards and laid them all out so I could see what I had made, what I had done. Also, writing prompts. This is a stack of 35 writing prompts that I just finished. Being able to draw them at random has been helpful. And then affirmations. I have a little set of affirmations that are on index cards. And I wouldn't say that I've consciously done this. I just looked around and there they were. So let's drill down a little bit into how you can organize your content using index cards. So one of the things that I like to do is tack them up on a board. So here's the outline for a book that I'm working on. It's called Willing Lover, Fall in Love with Your Creativity to Make What You Want When You Want. That's my working title. So I've had this idea for a long time, but when I look at the table of contents and I move it around in a digital file, I just don't get the same kind of sense of the whole and how it goes together that I do when I put it up here. So what I've done is I put each discrete piece on an index card. So we've got the intro, we've got, here's what the struggle is. and here's my solution, love. My solution is always love. And then the different things that, different sections for each uh, chapter or section. And you can see that this one, Claim Your Relationships, there's 4 different categories underneath that. When I go to work on this, each of these things will have its own index card. So here's the way you're able to map it out. And I like the corkboard because you can put it away, you can put it under a bed. If you don't have a lot of space, you can do this on a corkboard and it's mobile instead of maybe putting it up on a wall. And if you have a wall that you want to use, feel free to do that. You can also use Post-it notes on a wall. What I like about the index card on the corkboard that I've used, it's not just a way to organize the material. I've used it for a to-do list or a to-write list. So when I wrote my book, Visit Paris Like an Artist, I used this and I loved how it made it really simple to see what I had written and what I hadn't written. So when you have your items up like this, you can either take them off once you've drafted them, or you can turn them around so that it's blank, and then you can see a sense of progress. And I found this is really important for people that I've worked with, and myself included, to feel a sense of progress. Because when you're writing a book or generating a lot of material for your podcast or whatever you're writing, it can just feel like you're never getting anywhere. And we need a felt sense of progress. And we can get this by seeing it. So that's one of the ways I've used that. That was super helpful. If you don't have a wall or a cork board, maybe you have a small space, you can use this with Post-it notes. When I was in Paris a couple of years ago, I got news that I was chosen to present a Pacha style talk, which is 5 minutes and 20 slides. So what I did was I used not index cards, I used sticky notes to put each idea on a note. And then I was able to move the ideas around and put it into a form that kind of flowed together. So if you don't have a lot of space or you don't want to use index cards, you can use sticky notes like that. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has sparked some ideas for you. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it sparked some ideas for you. It's really pretty simple. You can use it to do any kind of material. When I was writing my novel, I had scenes that were set in Denver and set in Paris. And what I did was I used a different color. I used blue index cards for Paris and red ones for Denver. And when I laid it out on the floor, all as like a storyboard or a timeline, I was able to see the flow of where the scenes in Denver were and where the scenes in Paris were. And this allowed me to make sure that it had a kind of consistent flow between the two. And that's just another example of how you can use index cards to generate to organize. That's just another example of how you can use index cards to organize your material. I think that's it. It's really simple. I'd love to hear your thoughts about how you might use this. I'm hoping this has generated some new ideas for you, or how you might use this to organize the material that you're working with now. Thanks for watching.